Good morning guys, it's really early in the morning, it's like 2 a.m. I'm on my way to Stansted Airport on the first leg of my journey off to Bulgaria to buy a house. Exciting. We made it, the M25 was closed, so we're really late. Gotta go, bye. So we made it to Bulgaria. I'm parked outside the hotel. The roads here are awful. They're so bad. There's no traffic though, so it's okay. First impressions, Bulgaria is pretty nice. It's snowy outside at the moment. It did look a bit like a nuclear bomb had gone off on the way down in the plane. Anyway, I'm here. I'm going to go and check out the hotel. Just got into the hotel room. I'm paying 100 lev, which is about £50 for 3 nights. And this is the bedroom. Got the TV from the 80s. Very interesting decor, huge room. Everything very nice.
Good morning, time's just gone 1:30. I'm just getting ready to leave the hotel off to Vidin today. I've got a fair bit of a drive in front of me, but I'll send you some pictures from the first few houses we see today.
Wow, what a long day. I've been out of the house, out of the hotel for over 21 hours. But I did end up buying a really nice house on over an acre of land. It's 2 houses, 3 barns. It's really nice. I'll put some pictures up. Well guys, here we are on the Eurotunnel on our way to France. Pixie's very excited. Look how excited she is. Good girl, Pigs. Good girl. Guys, so I arrived yesterday. I'm just getting ready today to plant some seeds. We got here mid-afternoon. We slept all night. And here we are in Bulgaria. So, we go down the side of my house. Here's a little pixie. Enjoying Bulgaria already. So I've prepared my first bed. This is where I'm going to be planting the peas. It's just next to my toilet. And a lot of clearing to do. So my place goes all the way to those trees, well behind those trees, all the way behind those trees. That's where the pigsty and barns are. Some cherry trees already in blossom, the house and the big barn next to it, and Pigsy. Well, one of the first things I actually did was fit new locks. Surprisingly easy actually. There are tutorials online. This only took me about 10 minutes. Good morning guys, it's the 16th of April. It's day 1 of my homesteading adventure. It's Monday. I arrived at the end of last week, but I've just been getting a few things ready, doing a few things around on the homestead and checking things out. I actually found another barn I didn't even know I had, so we'll go and have a look at that later. Today I've got a hand tractor turning up, so I can really start on doing some groundwork. First thing I'll be doing today is I've got to go shopping to get some stuff to do some plumbing. And after I've done some plumbing and got some hot water running, then I'll be doing some brush cutting once it's a bit later in the day and people are actually up, so I'm not disturbing any neighbours. They're not too close, but still, brush cutting is something that's pretty loud. And I've got some chainsawing to do as well and felling some trees. So I hope that all goes okay, but I'll show you what I've done so far on the homestead. So far on the homestead, what I've done is managed to find, locate and turn on the water. So for 2 or 3 days I didn't have running water, but this is amazing. I don't think I'm brave enough to drink it yet, but it's definitely going to help with watering of crops. So we've also found a wine cellar the other day with some barrels in it, a giant barrel as well. But I took the barrels and took my chainsaw to them and turned them into planters. So we've got some crops growing. We've got some potatoes in, we've got some onions. Not very interesting at the moment. We've got a whole tub of strawberries here, wild alpine strawberries. I do like the alpine strawberries. More potatoes, more tomatoes. And over there I've built a little planter. We've got some bulbs in a little white dish, and next to it we've got garlic and rosemary. My daffodils are out. So today we'll be working this way and clearing some brush, and then back over down this side past the toilet into the distance, it's where we'll be doing all of the ploughing and stuff today to clear some fields for me to grow some corn. That's my giant, I think, cherry tree. I also found another weird tree over there. We've got lots of weird fruit trees. Problem is, can't tell what they are until they fruit. So, little update, guys. Well, there's Pigsy sat by the daffodils. We've been making some bread, got the sourdough rising, and quite importantly, yesterday we didn't have running water, but today we have hot running water and a shower. I have a shower all installed by myself. There's little jerry rigging involved, and a little hose line system so that I can still use the cold feed to water my crops, but the cold feed goes into the bottom of this thing. Inside there there's a heating element, so you get hot running water from the tap, or you can switch it and it comes out the shower. Very exciting. Right, so the other day I planted these peas here. This bed's only about 7 meters long. It actually took a couple hours to dig it out, to break up the earth and to plant the seeds. And I've got all of this to do, and it keeps going back behind those trees. I've cleared this with a brush cutter, well, a couple of about 10 meters wide. So I'm going to put some beds in, but I'm not doing it by hand because I bought this bad boy. Check him out. Right, let's start him up and see what happens. Well, guys, it's been a long day. Day one on the homestead. This Pigsy's enjoying herself as always. Basically, we haven't got as much done as we wanted to. Well, I haven't got as much done. The ploughing tractor has what I think is a hydro lock. It's where oil's got into the cylinder, and so the piston can't compress all the way. I'm going to try and fix that tonight, and then hopefully tomorrow we'll get on. We got a lot of brush clearing done, but we haven't actually got anything dug for planting tomorrow. So hopefully tomorrow morning we'll see a fixed tiller and a fixed plough. We're just sitting down to have some dinner. I've got some bread in the oven, and tomorrow morning I'm looking forward to my first hot shower on the homestead and getting some work done. Alright, we'll see you tomorrow. Just before we go tonight, I just pulled this out of the oven. I think I have nailed making sourdough bread. Good morning, guys. I'm just about to have a shower. It's still very early, but as you can see, this is my water heater. It's getting hotter. Takes a little while to warm up. Once it's going, I'll get in and have a shower. Let's see how it goes. Morning, guys. It's day two. Day two of being on the homestead. Of course, the 17th of April, Tuesday. I'm going to go and fix the tractor now because I didn't fix it last night. I just went to bed and I've just had a shower. It was lovely. So good. I haven't had a proper wash in like 2 weeks. Been washing out of a bowl. But yeah, let's see what we get. Alright, guys, here's the tiller. So a hydro lock, as I said last night, is when oil gets into the chamber. So I assume when they transported it here, some oil's got into the piston and it can't compress it. So what we've got to do is take off the spark plug, which is about here, and then once we've taken the spark plug off, we cycle the engine, and that should push the oil out the top. But a quick way to check if it is a hydro lock and not a full seizure is just to look at the bottom of the spark plug. Now if the spark plug is soaking with oil, you know it's definitely hydro lock. I mean, it might be hydro locked and seized as well. But yeah, as you can see, there's oil all over the spark plug. So we've got a hydro locked engine. So now, there you go. All right. Got quite a lot of engine oil. I'm going to fix this and get back to you later. Fixed it. Well, time for brunch. Time for brunch here in Bulgaria. There's no point planning anything. Like, I had a first week's plan of what I wanted to do each day, and it's just completely out the window. There's no point. I mean, having goals is a far better idea. There's things I want to accomplish, but planning to do this at a certain time on a certain day is completely pointless. For example, the tilling was meant to start yesterday, started today. I'm going to need to clear the ground more before the tiller goes in, because it's just getting clogged up with all of the long grass that's sat on top of the dirt, which is actually going to be quite hard to remove. It's basically raking an acre of long grass off. It's too damp to burn, so there you go. But yeah, sat down to brunch, and I'll carry on brush cutting this afternoon. Well then guys, end of day 2 here on the homestead. Didn't get a lot done today, but we made some progress. Fixed the tiller, but then went to do the tilling on a field that had a lot of dry grass on it, and that just got into the tilling blades and fouled it up. So then I set about doing a lot of tidying, set up myself a little kitchenette outside that's much nicer than what it was before. And burnt off a lot of rubbish that was left behind by the previous tenants here. Going to do some tilling on some fields tomorrow that I cleared today, so we did a bit of brush cutting and burnt a lot of the stuff that came off those fields this afternoon. Anyway, that's the end of day 2, so have a good night and talk to you soon. Bye. Good morning guys, it's day 3 here on the homestead. It's very early. It's actually raining today, which is good. We've got some tilling to do. I cleared 2 little fields yesterday, so I'll be tilling those up, and then hopefully we'll be doing some planting this afternoon. Now, it's a plan, but we'll see what happens today. Hopefully I'll be able to show you some planted beds later on. If not, I'll take you for a walk around and show you what we've done so far and what we've still got left to do. Alright, well, I'm just going to finish up my coffee and we'll get cracking on. Well guys, actually one of the first things I've got to do today is make some bread for lunch and dinner. So I make sourdough, and it's a very simple recipe, which is why I do it. All you need is flour, water and a bit of salt as well, and that makes your sourdough. You need some starter, which as you can see is bubbling away nicely. And that's just flour and water. Leave it for a day, add more flour and water, do that for 7 days, and it starts bubbling and gets all active as the natural yeasts and bacteria start breaking it down. It's a relative of lactobacillus that does most of the work. But once it's going, all you do is mix the starter with flour into a dough. This is a bit wet, but it'll get more flour as I need it. And you don't need to measure anything, which is fantastic. You just put enough flour, enough water in until it looks right. And then you just leave it for the morning, knock it back, leave it for a little bit in the afternoon, and it's good to go in the oven. Such a simple recipe, which is why I use it. I'll show you how this one turns out later. Okay, so the dough's been kneaded, made a nice little ball out of it, nice and solid. We're just going to leave this now till the afternoon under a damp tea towel to do a bit of rising. And on day 3 we finally have some ploughed land, ploughed and tilled, with the beautiful gardenia. We've made some nice mud. Just about to plant some peas in it. One of my giant trees. I think this is a cherry. We've got some grapes underneath here. But let's get those peas in the ground. Just a quick hello to Michael, one of the best electricians in Australia. I thought I'd show him my IP65 rated power connection. That is, of course, going to my shower. Very safe, very Bulgarian. And I've even performed an LED upgrade. Knocked these down from 70 watt bulbs to 5 watt bulbs. I don't think I can claim any VEEP certificates though, considering we're in Bulgaria. Good evening guys, bread's in the oven, getting ready for dinner. Chicky's looking forward to it. So quite a productive day today, done a fair bit. I'll just take you around and show you what we've done. We cleared off the place we had the fires yesterday, so plowed all of this, tilled it all. This has now been planted. Peas, 2 rows in each mound, ready to go. We felled a couple of trees that were looking a bit ropey, did a bit of clearing, and we've tilled all of this up, and tomorrow we'll be planting that with corn. So end of day 3, and the sun's going down here in Bulgaria. Looking quite nice. Good night everyone. Good morning guys. Welcome to the homestead, day 4. Yeah, day 4. It's very early again, as always. Sun is just about to come up. Today we're planting that corn you just saw, 40 centimetres apart in that field that I prepared yesterday that hasn't been planted. Not the most interesting day, but I'll take some pictures and show you what we get up to later on. Well then guys, planted 4 days ago. First sign of life. Here he is. Only one at the moment, but that is my first tomato plant coming up. Good morning guys, it's day 5 here on the homestead. Not a massive day today, I'm just off to Vidin. I've got to go and sort out my water bills and electricity bills, get them into my name. I might even sort out some actual internet connection today as well. And then this afternoon I'm just going to be doing a little bit more planting, getting some peas in the ground, and if I get all of that done, I might get the tiller out again and prepare a bed for some carrots. Anyway, have a good day, and I'll chat to you later on. Actually, and one other thing I'm going to do today is build a little tripod for my iPad, because all the videos I'm shooting at the moment are all prepared
and shot on iPad, so that's why you've got the constant upwards facing look, because it's stood on an iPad stand. But I built a little tripod, and then hopefully I'll be able to actually show you a bit more of what I'm actually doing rather than just telling you about it, and there won't be so many up nose shots anymore. Anyway, I'll show you how that goes later on. Well guys, I just finished my tripod. I'll show you a picture because obviously it's holding the iPad right now. Hey guys, good afternoon. I'm just going to be planting some peas this afternoon. Got them in a little pot. I've soaked them overnight, they're ready to go. All I'll be doing is poking little holes in the ground, putting the peas in, and then covering them over with dirt, and then I'll be watering them in. I don't actually use pesticides or herbicides on my property, so you might be wondering why I've got a pressure sprayer. Well, all of this land, very hard to clear, lots of tall grass. It's actually fallen flat and died off and gone brown, so you can't cut it with a strimmer because it's lying flat on the ground. It was too wet to burn until today, so sprayed some fuel on the ground. Now all this area is clear. I've still got all that to do over there, but for the time being it's dinner time. I've just put this out. As you can see, the hose is there for firefighting purposes, but all of this area cleared, ready to till. Alright, time to go and have some dinner. Hey guys, good evening. It is Friday night here on the homestead. It's party night. It is pizza night. That's homemade sourdough pizza, bit of salami, bit of cheese on top. We've got some vodka orange stuff to drink. It's been a lovely day. Usual amount done. Anyway, good night all. Good morning guys. Day 6 on the homestead, Saturday. Recovering from last night's festivities. Didn't drink too much actually, I'm okay. So today we've got to fix a fence. I've got to do some more clearing, and I'm going to be sorting out some more areas for burning. I've got to go to the shops, get some more fuel, and I think that's about it. I might do some tilling and I might plant some carrots, just see how the day goes. Tomorrow is my day off, which I don't know what I'm going to do, to be honest. I might just do some stuff around on the homestead. But I'll upload this video later on tonight, so you can see the last 3 days, and then after this what I'm going to be doing is weekly updates. So there'll be one video per week showing you what I've done throughout the week, because a lot of the heavy lifting work is now done. A lot of the major work that needs doing I've finished already, so it's mostly watering and just checking on crops and making sure that they grow. And then a bit of DIY around the home and start doing some improvements, and yeah, anyway, have a good day and I'll talk to you later on. Well guys, this is the area that I'll be clearing today. Clearing off those bushes, stacking them up over on screen right, and then we'll be burning all that off later on tonight once it's all dried out a bit, and we'll be clearing all of these plants off to the left, and getting all that ready down to compost, and all of the straw and grass and all that stuff that makes it impossible to till will just be burning off, and hopefully this area will be ready for next week, when I will be sorting it out to plant a lot of crops. Alright guys, I'll show you what happens later on. It's
excavator. Hello and welcome. Have you had nice holidays? Maybe you've been to the beach. Maybe you've stayed in any of the amazing theme parks. Perhaps you've been on fancy cruise ships, or even stayed in upmarket hotels in those famous and romantic cities. How about a holiday that has none of those things? That's right, guys. Stephen's Bulgarian Homestead is now available for bookings and open for the holiday season, where health and safety are a thing of the past. Comfort, luxury, no thank you. You could stay in any of our beautiful rooms, or if you prefer, maybe even the barn. We have lots of activities for the boys. We have great things like poop in a hole, chainsaws and vodka. For the girls, we have an outside shower. There's no privacy, but don't worry, I won't videotape you. Videotaping is used to describe the act of taping on video and does not cover any other forms of recording, including digital media. As a bonus, girls, my laundry even needs doing, so come on down. Maybe even bring the kids. Got great activities for the kids like play in the dust, feed the wild dogs. Well then guys, with so much on offer, I hope to see you soon. Hi guys, good morning. It is week 2 here on the homestead. It's Monday the 23rd of April 2018. Just getting ready to start my day. I've got some watering to do this morning, and then we're going to get cracking on what we've got to do for the week. Behind me you can see the area that I'm mostly going to be working on this week, this big field that I'm going to be clearing off and getting ready for planting. I've got some other jobs I want to get done around the homestead obviously, but for this week this is what I'm mostly concentrating on. Behind you there's the pigsty and the lamb barn, which I haven't actually been in yet, so I'd like to get into those a bit later on this week as well. But I'll keep you updated and I'll show you what's happening as the week progresses. Well then, that's the pigsty that was behind you, and that's the lamb barn, which I haven't been in. Just in the middle there's a walkway which needs clearing, and just down here I've got to clear off all this to get behind it. There's actually quite a lot of room behind it, so as you can see I've burnt most of this field off already. That pile was just a little bit too wet to burn. And along this row here, along this tree line, I'm going to cut some of this back, and this is where I'm actually planting my walnut trees, my retirement plan, but I'll take you through that later. Hi guys, good evening. It's Sunday night, end of the week, end of week 2. I'm just going to show you what I've done so far this week. Behind me you've got the pigsty, and I said I was going to clear the area just over there. I'll show you how I've got on with that. And then behind you now is a bonfire that we're having tonight. I'll show you that in a bit. Well guys, first of all, sorry about the wind noise. It is actually quite a windy day. So this is how clear that side is now. I'll take you for a walk around there. So if you remember at the start of the week, this was all completely overgrown. Right out to the fence over there. As you can see, I've made a mushroom, put in a little gate, some temporary posts for a fence that's going across here. And that's because what we have back here now, after a lot of clearing work, is the animal pens. There's the pigsty, there's the lamb barn, and there's a little lean-to shelter over there. So all of this was completely overgrown, full of bush and stuff. So I've cleared all of that out, and that is now all over there. And we're going to burn that tonight. Hopefully it's dry enough. Well guys, as you can see, the bonfire is still there. It's still too green to burn. It's been sat there for a week, some of it too. But yeah, it's just not burning at all. I put some dry wood in the middle and that just burned away and left all of the green stuff on top. So we'll leave it another week or two and we'll try again. Well guys, I promised I'd take you through the crops that I've got growing at the moment. So I'll go in order that I planted them. So first up, these are the peas that I planted in that first bed 2 weeks in. The next thing I actually planted were these tomatoes. Then we've got the garlic, and in the middle of the garlic you can see some rosemary. Then we've got the potatoes. We've got some onions. These are just the little shoots coming up now. And lastly we've got the corn. So that's a little corn plant sat in the middle of the field. That was the last thing I planted. And then some existing crops that we have here are the grapes. I put them on an A-frame. And that's the grapes at the end of week 2. Well guys, that's the end of my week. I'll see you next week. Hope you have a good one. Morning guys. It's the 30th of April, Monday. It's start of week 3 here on the homestead. This week what I want to do is finish off this fence line, get that put in. Just get the wire onto the fence and get the posts put in on the other side. And then I've got to put the carrots in this week. At some point I'm going to focus on that and get a bed of carrots in. But other than that, there's not a whole lot to do this week. Just getting ready for chopping up some wood and doing a bit more clearing. So I'll let you know how it all goes on and see you at the end of the week. Hey guys, so this is the side of the pigsty, and there used to be a really crappy fence here along with some trees that were in it, and it used to go out that way, but I've pulled all that out and I've cut myself some fence posts. So what I'm going to do now is, I think this is wood stain, but of course it's all in Bulgarian, so I'm going to stain up those posts, and then later on we're going to be putting them into these holes with a bit of concrete. Well, we're just waiting for the post to dry, and I've got this old stove, and I think you can probably guess what I'm going to do with it. I'm going to turn it into a planter. It's just out the front of my my tool barn. So we're going to fill that up with some potting compost and then plant some chilies in it. Pigsy just wants to say hello. Hello Pigsy. Hello. This is Mr. Tom eating cat food. Mr. Tom has been eating dog food for 2 weeks, so Mr. Tom finally got some cat food. Mr. Tom likes cat food. Dobro utro, guys, which means good morning. It's the end of week 3 almost. But today is market day, so we're off into Vidin, and hopefully Chicken Guy is there and we can get ourselves some chickens to put in this coop. Little tour of our coop. The nest boxes that I made. Just on a little platform. Used some old crates, cut out the fronts. Built them a little perch on the front. And then all the little baby girls over there. And one on the left. The black one behind the gold one. Has a kind of blue face, so that's blue. Then they've got a ladder that goes up to all of their perches and roosts up here in the loft. Then they've got their bowl full of chicken salad, aka weeds at the moment, and a half tire water trough. It's actually working really well. So that's the front of the chicken coop. Had to build a wonky door because the whole coop's a bit on the wonk. This is their little area. That's actually my well and trough. And their area goes all the way through all of this, which I'm sure they're going to strip clean. Right down into that bottom animal pen and ends where the other fence is. Had to replace this gate. Made a gate. Well then guys, that's the end of week 3 here on the homestead. Hope you've had a good week. Hope you have a good week next week. Lots to do next week. But for this week, it's me and the chickens signing off. Well then guys, that's it for me this week. So Devishtanay, which means goodbye. And these are the peas from last week. Everything else stayed about the same, grew a little, but as you can see, these are really taking off. So I'll leave you with that. And I'll just ask if anyone's got any questions that they'd like answered about the homesteading here in Bulgaria, then please leave them in the comments below, and I'll answer them in the next couple of weeks. Morning guys, it's week 4 here on the homestead. It's the 7th of May. Got Blue with me. We've just fed the chickens. This week I'll be working on some home improvements and finishing off backing up the last few bits of the fence. And that's about it. So I'll show you how that goes as usual throughout the week. Anyway, from me and Blue, we'll see you later. Well guys, we should be doing a bit of home improvement, and so I found a load of lumber and some, what I assume is floorboards, and some nice big wood boards as well, up in the barn loft up there. So we're going to be putting all this together and obviously cleaning it up to make ourselves a shower cubicle to go over there. PC want a shower cubicle? So we built ourselves a nice little shower cubicle with some privacy. Got a shower head, a mirror, a little shelf. Even got some lighting in here. All nice and safe. those big trees there, those are the cherry trees. Just building a raised bed in front of them. But we've actually been picking cherries today. So here's the raised bed, very simple, 4 planks screwed together. I found some black rubber stuff. So I'm just using that as some weed matting for a few weeks to knock the weeds down underneath it. Then I'll sink it in a little bit and fill it out, and we'll have a raised bed. Well guys, the chickens got attacked. As you can see, something tried to dig in. I've actually reinforced it, put another sheet of wire over the front, plank of wood there. Yeah, you can just see whatever it was actually tearing apart the wood to get to them. Threw it a couple of meters away, probably a big dog, might have been one of the wolves. So I've put up some nice barbed wire, just very simply strung barbed wire all along the side of the coop, and hopefully that'll keep our little babies safe. Well, as you can see, got lots of cherries, massive cherry trees, just cherries galore everywhere. As they're getting very red, I'm picking them, they're sweet. And we actually found some strawberries today as well. So yeah, the strawberries are starting to ripen. Got a few scattered around. Noticed them as I was picking the cherries. And we'll get stuck into these later. I've got just so many cherries. Look at all the cherries. So to get to more of the cherries, we built ourselves a little, well, I used 2 ladders and made a little A-frame ladder so we could get up and get some of these cherries that are all up here in the higher branches. As you can see, very simple to turn 2 ladders into a step ladder, just 4 holes, bit of iron bar, bit of rope for safety, and 2 ladders become 1. So that's the apple tree that's in front of the pigsty. There's the start of my fence over there. That is the lamb barn for lambing. Got some grapevines out the front, but this was completely overgrown, so we've cleared that out. As you can see, all those vines are now dead. We cut those off, but the whole thing was full of vines. Had to pull them all out. Built this gate, and as you can see, we've now backed it with chicken wire. So the chickens are now ready to go into the big area. Well guys, over there in that field, that's where I planted my corn. It's starting to grow. You can't really see it from here, but there is corn over there growing up. But after I burnt off this field, I've got all of these growing up, and to me they look a lot like corn. They're either corn or some very weird grass I've never seen before. To give you some scale, that's about 1.5 foot high, so getting up to about 1 meter. And we've got just tons of it. It's everywhere. I know they used to grow corn in this field, so maybe the last harvest they just dropped, but all of this green stuff is that plant. There's little bits in the middle there that aren't, but all of these patches, it's all the same stuff. I might have a lot of corn. We'll have to wait and see. And the bonfire is still there. Burn off half of it, but still got half to go. Well, in the lamb barn today, and I found a trough, so put it there ready for when we get the pigs. This will be their little area. Obviously that's the side of their sty, gate there. Yeah, so we've got a trough all ready for them. Well, all of the fence is now finished. This side up to this side of the gate here, and it goes off that way. Yeah, just put on this last bit now. All ready and done. We have walnuts. This is my walnut tree, pretty big tree. Everybody's got walnuts on him. There you go, that gives you a better idea of how big that walnut tree is. Just next to it there on the left of the screen, you've got the gate post, fence post, sorry. And he's covered in walnuts. Well guys, end of week 4 and time for the Q&A. I got one question last week about expenses. And just while I'm answering this question, I'm just going to put a few of these pictures up. Just some snaps I've taken around the homestead this week. Just so you can see how things sit this week. So, firstly, there is no work in Bulgaria. There's some work and some of the people here do work, but if you're in the villages or if you're out in the countryside, there's very little work, and the work that there is pays very, very badly. So it was always my intention to come here and effectively retire. I'm not working from home. I do plan to become completely self-sufficient, and the only way I was able to do this is for some help from my family and some inheritance that came my way when my grandmother passed away, and a little bit of savings. So the plan is to become very self-sufficient. The long-term plan is to plant a very high-value crop, which is black walnut. And when fully grown at today's market prices, a 35-year-old black walnut tree retails for about $20,000. So that's the final retirement plan. They're actually in the fridge now, being cold treated, and I think next week or the week after they come out, and then I'll be planting those out once they've established themselves in some tree pots that I'm making out of some water bottles. But I'll show you all that in a later video. Well then guys, if you do have any more questions, please feel free, leave them in the comments below and they will get answered next week. But I hope you have a great week, and we'll see you next week on my homestead. Good morning guys, it's Monday the 14th of May. I've been here a month now. It's start of week 5 here on the homestead. I'm just getting myself some coffee. I'm trying to. Tom's helping. And then I'm going to crack on. I've got to feed the chickens. I've got a lot of daily jobs to do. We don't have to water because it's actually going to rain today, which is nice. Yeah, I'll show you how the week goes and what we get up to after I've had my coffee. Want some coffee, Tom? Well guys, we had a couple of days of rain, but as you can see today it's nice and sunny, so we've been out picking the cherries this morning. I've got a load in the freezer, and something else we're doing, just making some cherry jam. Very simple jam recipe. I've got some lids in there boiling up, and in there a couple of jars, just sterilising, ready for some jam making. Let's see how this is. Yeah, pretty damn good. Okay, what I've done is clear all of this out. This used to be all scrub and bush. You might remember from an earlier video that you couldn't see through any of this area. I've left 3 of the cherry trees. There were heaps and heaps of cherry trees. Well guys, another sunny Sunday here in Bulgaria. Obviously through clearing all of this area this week, a lot of that stuff that was there has now gone onto the bonfire, which once again is a lot bigger. And as you can see, all that green stuff on it still not ready to burn. So it's going to be another couple of weeks before we finally get that burnt off. But I'll show you that in a couple of weeks. Well, the quote unquote corn is still an unknown. It's much bigger. It's growing very, very fast. But I'll just show you a picture of my corn plant that I planted. That's one of them. So you can see they're looking very, very similar to that. Well, I only noticed these the other day. Potatoes have come up. I planted a few potatoes in the ground just along here. And some more over there. Kind of written them off because I didn't see them doing anything. But yeah, they've sprung up. Well guys, it is Sunday, end of week 5 here on the homestead. Not much to do today, having a day off. So as you can see, the chickens are just out enjoying themselves. Now I'm actually going to be raising these mostly on pasture and also compost. So just over here I got the start of my compost heap, and once that starts running down and turning more and more into compost, then I'll let the chickens at it and they can start turning it. And I've got to build it up and obviously clear some of this area for them, and that'll all go into the compost heap and become part of their food source. So free range compost chickens. Anyway guys, questions and answers up next, and I'll see you all next week. Have a good one. Well guys, questions and answers this week. Thank you for all your questions. Please keep them coming. Put them in the comments below. I enjoy getting all the questions, and please feel free to ask as many as you like. So first of all, the acreage. I'm on 1.5 acres of land here. Once I take out all of the barns, houses, animal pens, etc., I've probably got about 1 acre of workable land, which is more than enough to feed myself and Pigsy. I was actually very, very lucky when I bought this property. I bought it in winter, so it was all snow covered. Didn't know what was here, didn't really know what any of the trees were. Turns out I've got a lot of producing crops, trees already on the property. So I've actually got 4 large cherry trees, well established. I've saved 3 small ones as well. I've got 6 apple trees, all different varieties, 7 plum trees. I've got 3 quince trees, very big, well established quince trees. I've got 3 peaches. I've got 14 existing grapevines. I had a couple more but I had to knock them back. I've got a large raspberry patch, and I've also got a fig tree. And there are 2 pear trees as well. So, oh yeah, and another cherry tree actually. So I've got a lot of producing trees already. I've got 2 bin bags full of cherries in the freezer, and that's going to go to become a lot of animal feed. I'm growing peas and corn on the 2 small fields. That'll be mostly for animal feed. And then I've still got the 1 big field where the bonfire is, and that's going to be cleared off at the end of the year, and tilled and then covered, ready for next year when I'll be producing a lot more crops. But yeah, 1.5 acres is more than enough land for a small holding, self-sufficient farm. Next up, being a foreigner, yeah, I use Google Translate. I'll put a video up next to that. But basically, everyone here is so friendly, like way more friendly than they are in the UK. So that's a bit different. I've been invited around to people's houses. I've been given eggs and honey and meat and all sorts of things. So they're very, very friendly, and a couple of people do speak English, but for the rest of the time I use Google Translate. Here's that video. Well guys, to answer one of the questions I've been asked about how I've been talking to the locals, as you can see, Google Translate works quite well in that respect, and it also translates back from Bulgarian. Govorite li angliski. So as you can see, it works quite well. And last up, Harry, thanks for your question, mate. Yeah, Pigsy loves the animals. That's the problem. She likes them too much. She loves the cats and the dogs, but she gets way too excited. She tries to chase the chickens. Once they're a bit older, I'll let her run free with them. So yeah, Pigsy likes them. They're not such big fans of her. I hope that answers your question. And have a great week, guys. Please keep the questions coming. Put them in the comments below. Also, any suggestions you have or anything you'd like to tell me, stick it below. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week on the Homestead. Good morning, guys. It is, of course, Monday the 21st of May. It's week 6 here on the Homestead, and I just thought I'd this morning just take you through one of the first jobs I do each day, and that is, of course, let the chickens out. And I also give them a little bit of feed. I do a bit of weeding, grab them some fresh weeds, and I give them a little bit of corn at the moment, although they seem far more interested in the weeds than the corn. The corn does get eaten throughout the day, just as a little bit of supplement, and it's so cheap anyway. But yeah, so first thing each day, see to the chickens. Well guys, one job I will be doing this week, hopefully, is repairing this. So one of the things about buying very cheap properties in Bulgaria is there is going to be some damage to them. We have what's called carpenter bees here. They're large solitary bees, but they bore into wood to lay their eggs and do their hivey stuff. But obviously that weakens beams, and you do get sections of roof collapse. So it's not a big hole, but I'll be taking some of the tiles off, replacing the wood, and then putting up some metal sheeting, and just to keep these mud bricks dry, and hopefully that'll keep it okay for a little while until I can afford to get the whole roof redone. Hi guys, here on the Homestead this week I'll be planting my black walnut seeds into tree pots to start with. Now a tree pot is just like a normal plant pot, just a lot taller. I can't actually find any here, so I've had to make my own. It's also a much cheaper way because they are a specialised pot. Being a specialised pot, they are more expensive. But all I've done is I saved up a load of water bottles over the last 6 weeks. Just cut the top off with a Stanley blade, remove the label, and drill some holes in the bottom for drainage. To do all of my drilling on the Homestead, I've been using a Bosch Professional Series drill, Bosch Blue. They are absolutely fantastic. They're light years beyond the Bosch Green, which is the household stuff. But if you do need a drill, if you've got any work to do around the house, I recommend getting one of these. You'll never look back, and it will see you right for years to come. Once you've done your drilling, you just want to fill them up with a bit of potting compost, and then you're ready to plant your tree seed, whatever that is, into the top of the pot. As the roots grow down, once they're down to around here, they're about ready to plant out into the homestead, into your garden, wherever it is. Well then guys, if you're looking for tree pots, I hope that gives you an idea, or maybe saves you some money. Well guys, these are the black walnut seeds. So you cold treat them. I've seen everything on the internet saying from a month to 3 months. So today, 1 month after they went into the fridge, I'll just be planting 10 of them. I do have another 10 in the fridge. But we'll see how these first 10 go, give the others a few more weeks. We'll plant those out as well. Hey guys, good morning. It's Wednesday. It's very early. As you can see, still dark outside. We're actually on our way to Veliko Tarnovo today. A very exciting day. We're off to pick up our first guest for our first Bulgarian homestead holiday. So I'll introduce you to her a bit later on. Have a good day. Well guys, end of week 6 here on the homestead, Sunday. I'm recovering from this week's festivities. What was going to be a productive week turned into a week of partying. I had a friend from 7 years ago turn up, and we spent a couple of days going around and doing some sightseeing and partying. And then this weekend it was the Rakitnitsa festival. It's like a village fair where there's music and dancing, and I got invited to spend it with my neighbours, and my neighbours drink a lot. So yeah, not feeling great today, but I'll put the video up, and I'll just show you a couple of the videos from this week. Alright, well guys, have a good week, and hopefully next week we'll get a bit more done on the homestead.
You can't just like spring this.
Well then guys, here's our first guest on the homestead.
Oh my god.
So Susan, what do you think of the homestead?
Can you take an angle of that, a view of that?
Of the car?
No, up there, the sky, that's what homestead's about.
The sky?
Yeah. There you one. And the sun trap.
Any other thoughts?
Аз болен съм и нищо вече не искам. Всеки миг очаквам си смъртта. А колко е хубаво да любиш. Защо сърце ти го жела. А колко е хубаво да любиш. Защо сърце ти го жела. Balay mo matapili,